Today we are going to work on Chapter 3, Practice 1.2, Part A. Solve for the missing term in each proportion problem. You may use your calculator for questions 9 through 16. Note, answers will not always be whole numbers. That means sometimes you will get either a decimal value or a fraction. That depends on your questions. Because if it deals with money, then you will work with decimal. If it deals without money, then you may end up with a fraction. That would be okay too. So let's start with number 1. 2/3 equals x over 18. You have two ratios here. The first ratio is 2/3 equals the second ratio, and the second ratio, one of the variable or one of the value for the variable is missing. So to solve for these problems, there are only two steps. So the first step is to multiply the two given value, such as 2 times 18. And then the second step is to divide the answer that you multiply 2 by 18, divide that by 3. Whatever that is the value for x. So let's work this out. We know 2 times 18. Okay, let's do the problem here. 2 times 18 is 36. Then step number 2, 36 divide by 3. That's 12. So we put x equals 12. This time you have to multiply 5 by 27 because the diagonals is given to you, but not 3 and x. So therefore 5 times 27. What's 5 times 27? 5 times 27. Let's see. 5 times 7 is 35. Right? Only 5. Carry 3 in your head, or put on top of the 2. Now 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 3 is 13. Now divide 135 by the 3 here. Okay, let's see what that gives us. So put a 3 here, and let's do a division. 3 goes into 135. Okay, ask yourself, how many 3's in 13? How many 3's in 13? It should be 4 times. So write 4 on top, directly on top of the 3, not the 1. Because the 1 can't divide by 3. Only 13 does. So put the 4 right above the 3. Now multiply the 4 that you have here by the 3. And that should give you the product. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12, right? 12. And subtract, you have 1 left. Now bring down the 5. I have 15. So 3 goes into 15. That's 5 times. Put 5 over here. So 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract, you have 0. So the answer for x is going to be 45. Okay. Number 3. The two givens are 3 and 15. So let's do that on the left hand side. 5 times 3 is 15. Now divide 15 by 6. That's the same as 6 goes into 15. So how many times is 6 goes into 15? It's 2 times. So let's put a 2 on top of the 5 and multiply the 2 times the 6, you get 12. So put 12 underneath of the 15. Now you have 3 left over. Okay, now to write your answer, we will have 2 whole and 3 remainder over the 6. Now we do know that 3 over 6 can be reduced to a lower term. So why don't we divide both numbers by 3? And 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3, that's 2 times. So your answer should be x equals 2 whole and 1 half. That's your answer. Number 4, we will have to multiply the 15 by 8. Let's work that out. So 15 multiplied by 8. How much is that? We will say 8 times 5 is 40. Carry 4 on top of the 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 4 is 12. So I have 120. Now 120 divide by the 2. Okay, we do know that 2 goes into 12, or 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 0 divided by 2 is 0. So the answer for x would be 60. Let's work with number 5. Remember, number 5 is dealing with money. Okay, so we have to multiply that 212 by 7. And let's work that out on the top here. So 212 multiplied by 7. That means 7 times 2 is 14. Carry 1 on top of the 1. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 1 that carry is 8. No carry. 7 times 2 is 14. So let's write 14 here. And we need to divide 1484 by the 4. Okay, let's do that number here. 4 goes into 1484. We know that 4 goes into 14 3 times. Because that's going to be 12. Now, you have 2 left over. Bring down the 8. Now I have 28. 4 goes into 28 7 times. So 7 times 4 is 28. And 28 subtract 28 is gone. Now bring down the 4. So 4 goes into the 4 here. That's only 1 time. So that means 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 subtract 4 is gone. That means the answer for x is going to be dollar first and then $3.71. Number 6. 6 here. Okay, 6 times 400. Okay, let's work that out. 6 multiplied by 400. That's going to be 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 4 is 24, right? 24. Now 2400 divided by 25. Okay, let's make that out here. Okay, 25 goes into 2400. Now, when it involved with 25, you have to think of money. Okay, if that will make it easier for you to think. See, 25 is like a quarter. You do know that a quarter cannot go into 24 because 24 don't have 25 in there. Then we are to think about 240. How many quarters are there in 240 pennies? Think. If I say 8, then I will get only 200 pennies. So this should give you a 9. Okay, 9 quarters. So 9 quarters will be $2.25, isn't it? Subtract 225 cents from 240, so you have 15 cents left. And bring down to 0. So now think again. How many quarters are there in $1.50? You should get 6, don't you? Okay. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry 3 in your head. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 in your head is 15. So right now you have 0 left. So X value is 96. Number 7. In this case, we will multiply the 7 by the 9. Because diagonally those two are givens. So 7 times 9 is 63. Then divide 63 by 30. Okay. So how many 30s are there in 63? It looks like we have only 2 times, right? So 2 times 30 is 60. Write 60 here and subtract. I have 3 left. So to write the answer, I have a big 2 and then the 3 remainder on the top over the 30. Okay, and then it looks like this one you can reduce. Why don't we reduce both numbers by 3? So put 3 on both top and bottom. Okay, you may transfer the 2 over, and now you have 3 divided by 3 is 1. 30 divided by 3 is 10. Okay, so that would be the answer. X is 2 1/10. Okay, if you do decimal, you should have 2.1. So either one of them is correct. Number 8. Let's look at number 8. The givens are 12 and 3. So why don't we multiply 12 and 3? Let's work that out on the bottom, on the left hand side here. 12 times 3 is 36. Then divide 36 by 0.5. Okay, so put 0.5 here, and 36 goes inside. Now, pay attention to this one. You see 0.5 is not a whole number. You need to change that or convert that to a whole number by moving the point all the way to the end. That's only one decimal place. So do the same for the insider. Okay, that means you got to add another 0 here and move the point all the way to the end. And to rewrite the problem, you will have just 5 on the outside over 360. Okay, and then solve for the answer. Go ahead. 5 goes into 3, nada. So put x here to hold the place that there's nothing there. 5 goes into 36. That's 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Write down 35 here and subtract. So you have 1 left. Bring down the 0. Now you have 5 goes into 10, which is 2 times. Write 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract out. Done. So your answer for number 8 is equal to 72. Now we are working with 9 through 16, and in the instruction it says you may use your calculator for questions 9 through 16. Okay, so I press clear and I see a cursor right here. This cursor is waiting for you to type in something. So the question is 20 over 2.5 equals 100 over x. So we need to find what x is. And to find what the x is, the value for x is, we have to multiply 2.5 times 100. 2.5 times 100. So enter. I get 250. 250 divide by 20, and that's equal 12.5. 12.5 is your answer. So I'm going to put 12.5 here. Okay, now look at number 10. $5.96 times 3. Okay, that's the two numbers that we are going to multiply using a calculator. $5.96 times 3. Why don't we clear this? 5.96 times 3 equals 17.88. Go back to the question, and it says divide that by 2. So go back to the calculator. All I do is push the division symbol and put a 2 here, then enter. I got $8.94. So x is big dollar sign $8.94. Number 11. It does not show a money sign, so let's work that out. 5 times 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. Divided by 12. Enter. I got a 1.25. So put x equals 1.25. Number 12. Again, I see no dollar sign. So I multiply 2.5 times 60. 2.5 multiplied by 60. Enter. I have 150. So 150 divided by 4. Okay, you see 4. Okay. Divide by 4. Enter. So I have 37.5. X equals 37.5. Number 13. 3 times 114 divided by 19. 3 times 114. Enter. That's 342. Divide by 19. Enter. I have 18 exactly. So put 18 here. Number 14. 9 times $284.80. Okay, remember that. 284.8 times 9. 284.8 times 9. Enter. That's 2,563.2. Okay, divide by 80.10. Enter. I have exactly 32. That's 32. It's not in dollar, it's in quantity. So you don't need to put a dollar sign here. If you put a dollar sign there, it's going to be wrong. Number 15. Multiply $26 by 7. Okay, $26 multiplied by 7. Enter. I have 182. Push division sign, push 4 equals, you have 45.5. So put dollar sign first. $45.50. Number 16. 96 times 7. Okay, 96 times 7. 672. That's what I get. Divide by 24. Enter. So I have 28. Okay, that's x equals 28. So I'm going to write x equals 28. Okay. Now let's work with part B. Part B says choose the one best answer to each question. You may use your calculator for questions 20 through 22. So number 17, 18, and 19, we can't use calculator, so please do not use it. Number 17, a store is advertising the following sale. See, the following sale. And it says tomato soup, 4 cans for 98 cents. Okay, pay attention to this. It says to the nearest cent. That is saying that when you get your answer, you should round to the nearest penny. To the nearest cent. How much would 5 cans of tomato soup cost? So to get the 5 cans of tomato soup cost, we have to set up the first ratio that's given to you right there. Okay, let's reset up the problem here. So 4 is referring to cans. And the money is referring to the amount, cost, equals. Okay, now draw a line. It says how much. You see, how much, they don't know how much. Put the X on the bottom because X referring to money. Okay, so money gotta go with the money. How much would 5 cans? See, now they tell you it's exactly 5 cans. So put cans on the top. See, 4 goes with the cans. And then 5 goes with the cans. So x is what we don't know over here. Now we need to solve for x, which is we need to solve for how much. Okay, let's do the work. On the left hand side, we know that 98 cents multiplied by 5. Okay, so that means 5 multiplied by 98 cents. So we put 98 cents here. Okay, 5 times 0.98 cents. So how much is that? That's 5 times 8 is 40. Put 0 here. Carry 4. 5 times 9 is 45, which is 49. Don't worry about multiplying 5 times 0. Okay, so you see that 0.98 has 2 decimal places. So we are moving 1, 2. Now that's $4.90. So we need to divide that by 4 to get x. So 4 on the outside and 490s on the inside. You see, the 4 is a whole number. Then we don't need to do any moving. All we have to do is transfer that point here straight up, right there. So now divide. 4 goes into 4 one time. Okay, 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract 0 left. Bring down the 9. Do not bring down the point, because the point is already moved up. So how many 4 in 9? That's only 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract 8 from 9 is only 1. Bring down the 0. Now you have 10. 4 goes into 10 is also 2 times. That's going to be 8. And subtract 8 from 10 is 2. Now, what happened here? You still have a 2 remainder. So what we need to do is we need to add a 0 and bring that 0 down. So it's now next to the 2, so it makes 20. So 4 goes into 20 is 5 times. Put 5 here. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 take away 20 is 0. So now I have 1 point. Okay, I have 1.225. In money, we cannot have 3 digits after the decimal. So we do know that we have to do roundings. Okay, you know, in money, the penny is this 2 here. So then we look to the right. It's a 5. That means the one that I just highlighted, it's going to go up by 1 penny. So the answer for X is going to be $1.23. So what is that choice? That's going to be B. Number 18. The Bay City Cardinals have won 5 out of 8 games. At the same rate, how many games will they have to play to win 60 games? Okay, now we need to define what is the first ratio. So the first ratio is 1/5 out of 8. So we will set up 5 out of 8. So 5 is represent the winning. Okay, the winning. And 8 is represent the number of games. Okay. That's how I will set up. So if you look at the next ratio, it's going to say at the same rate. How many games? You see, how many games? That goes underneath here. Well, they have to play to win 60 games. So the 60 goes with the winning, not the number of games. Even though it looks big, don't let this bigger number here trick you. So what's the choice? How do we solve for this missing x here? What we need to do is we need to multiply the 8 times the 60. Okay, let's do that number here. What is 8 times 60? So write 480 here. And then divide that number by 5. So let's do that number here. 5 goes into 480. Now, how many 5s in 48? That's 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. Subtract 45 and from 48. I have 3 left. Now bring down the 0. Okay, how many 5s in 30? That's 6 times. So 6 times 5 is 30. So 30 take away 30 is 0. So the answer is 96. And that choice is going to be C. Now let's look at number 19. Carla drove her truck 414 miles on 18 gallons of gas. That's going to be your first ratio. How many miles did she drive per gallon? Okay, per gallon. That means per 1 gallon. Okay, that's per 1 gallon. Think of per gallon meaning per 1 gallon. Okay, now to solve for the miles, we need to set up our first ratio. 414 miles over 18 gallons of gas equals how many miles? So we don't know. We got to put X on the top because the number on the top is referencing miles. Did she drive per 1 gallon? So put 1 gallon down here. Now solve for X by multiplying 414 times 1. If 414 times 1, I get 414. Then that number divided by 18. Okay. Now 18 goes into 41 is how many times? 2 times. Because 2 times 18 you get 36. If you subtract 36 from 41, you have 5 times. Then bring down the 4. Now you have 54 left. Ask yourself again, how many 18s are there in 54? It's 3 times. So 3 times 18 is 54. Subtract, you have 0 left. So what does 23 represent? It says how many miles. So 23 represent the number of miles per gallon. So it looks like your answer is going to be 23. For number 20, okay, let's look at the instruction. The instruction says you may use your calculator for questions 20 through 22. Now let's look at the reading part. The scale on a map reads 2 centimeter equals 150 kilometer. So let's write that first ratio here. 2 centimeter over, okay, you can put over 150 kilometer, km. That's your first ratio. How many kilometers? That means the bottom number, okay? Because you see, kilometer is the bottom number. How many kilometers would be represented by a distance of 4.6 centimeters? So 4.6 centimeter. Now to solve for x, we need to multiply 4.6 times 150. Go to your calculator. 4.6. Let me clear this. 4.6 times 150 equals 690. So 690 divided by 2. Okay. Go to the calculator. All you have to do is divide 2. Enter. So that's 345. So 345 goes where the x is. So what is that? That's the kilometers. So your choice is B. Number 21. 2 ingredients in a recipe are 2.5 cups of flour and 1.5 cups of sugar. So let's write that ratio first. You see, the first number represents flour. So I'll just do this for easier. 2.5. So I write 2.5 cups of flour. So C.F over 1.5 cups of sugar. So CS equal. Okay, read on. If June keeps the proportion the same, how many cups of flour? So how many cups of flour should she add to 4 cups of sugar? So 4 cups of sugar goes here. Okay, 4 cups of sugar. So we're looking for X, or cups of flour. Now take out your calculator and we can say, look, 2.5. Isn't it 2.5 the same as 2.5? Okay, the 1.5 is the same as 1.5. You should already know that. Okay, so what we are going to do is multiply the 2.5 or the 2.5 times 4. 2.5 times 4 equal 10. So if I multiply 2.5 times 4, I get 10. Then 10 divided by 1.5. Okay. Go to calculator. 10 divided by 1.5. Enter. I have 6.666666 That's a repeating 6. 6.66666 da 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 da. Okay. Now what does that mean? If I look at the answer of D is 3, but that starts with a 6. So we can eliminate D and the 5 and the B. Why? Because you see, B has only exactly 6. 5 have exactly, C has exactly 5. So B, C, D are not the choice. But what about the 6 and 2/3? Is that the same as 6.666? How do you prove that? You see the 2/3 here. That means 2 over 3. That means 2 divided by 3. Let's see what it gives us. 2 divided by 3. Enter. That's 0.66666. That is telling you that I have a 6 dot 66666. That is telling us that A is the correct one. So let's mark A as the answer. And we can erase the B, C, D. Number 22. Claudia drove 155 miles in 2.5 hours. So let's put 155 miles over 2.5 hours. That's your first ratio. Equals the second ratio. Now read on. Which of the following expressions could be used to find how many miles? So how many miles goes on the top? Can she drive in 7 hours? So 7 hours is on the bottom. See, it didn't say to solve for the answer of X. It's only tell you what is the expression or how do you set up to solve for the value of X. In this case, you will need to multiply 155 times 7 divided by 2.5, because you will need to multiply 155 times 7, then whatever it is, divide by 2.5. And that looks like A. So let's mark A for that.